And I told you, or I tried to relate to you, what is the current international consensus of what's a legitimate, legal, moral settlement of the conflict. That means there is no consensus for dismantling the Zionist entity. There is no consensus for a one-state settlement, leaving aside the moral issues involved and sticking strictly to the practical issues. If you start demanding not an end to the occupation of the West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem, and a just resolution of the refugee question, and you start making these demands for one state in Palestine, or dismantling the Zionist entity, as it's sometimes called, well, leaving aside the moral issues and sticking strictly to the practical ones, the Gandhi strategy has no possibility of success, because there is no consensus in enlightened public opinion, there is no consensus in representative public opinion for a one-state settlement or for the dismantling of the state of Israel. And without that consensus, as I put earlier, the legitimacy or the innocence of means, but there has to also be an innocence of ends. The goals of the Palestinians have to be seen as legitimate, and this one-state talk or dismantling the Zionist entity, it has exactly zero legitimacy in the international community. Let me then end by going back to Mr. Gandhi. Gandhi liked to translate the word satyagraha, S-A-T-Y-A-G-R-A-H-A. It makes for a nice t-shirt. He translated as hold on to the truth. And I like that image. Hold on to the truth. And that's our challenge, to hold on to the truth that what Israel has done to the Palestinians is wrong. To hold on to the truth that Israel's refusal, backed by the United States, to respect international law and the considered opinion of humankind is the sole obstacle to putting an end to their suffering. We can win. We can win if we hold on to the truth. And if, to quote the African Americans, to putting an end to their suffering. We can win. We can win if we hold on to the truth. And if, to quote the African American spiritual, we keep our eyes on the prize and hold on. How many of you know that song? To keep your eyes on the prize and hold on. Well, it's a beautiful black spiritual. If I were in my classroom now, I immediately go here, YouTube, hold on, and the rest, but I don't teach anymore. What does that mean? It means, number one, to keep remembering what the struggle, the prize, is all about. It's not about theoretical fads, post this and post that. It's not about intellectual provocations. It's not about holier-than-thou radical posturing. It's about something much more humdrum, much more prosaic by comparison. The prize, it's about freeing the Palestinian people from their bondage. And then to hold on. To hold on means to be ready for sacrifice and for the long haul. But also to remember, whatever sacrifices we make here in Europe, North America, they're trivial and they're petty. They're meaningless next to the sufferings or the burdens or the sacrifices that the Palestinian people must daily make, and the burdens, sacrifices that people in 90% of the world have to make to achieve elementary justice. I lost my job. I wasn't happy about it. I have my moments of self-pity. so far as my friends are concerned, too many moments of self-pity. But in my sober moments, I don't forget that that sacrifice is so trivial. I lost a job. In about 3/4 of this world, if you try to tell the truth, you don't lose a job. You lose a limb, a body part, or your life. You get your tongue cut out, you get your ears cut off, you get your arms cut off, your legs cut off, your head cut off. That's the real world. In particular, in those glorious democracies that the United States promotes in the Middle East, like Egypt and Jordan, that's what happens when you tell the truth. Our sacrifices are so trivial, small change. But if we're willing to make those sacrifices and we're willing to go for the long haul, keep your eyes on the prize and hold on. And then as we do, we have to bear in mind, I think, the wisdom of the Caribbean poet M.A. Césaire. He said, "There's room for everyone at the rendezvous of victory." It's a beautiful line. I hope you all memorize it. It doesn't come from me. There's room for everyone at the rendezvous of victory. I came across it because the late Edward Said used to like to quote it in the last years of his life. It means that we want to nurture a movement and not create another cult. The victory to which we aspire is inclusive, not exclusive. It's not at anyone's expense. It is to be victorious without vanquishing. No one is a loser, not a Palestinian and not an Israeli. No one is a loser, and we are all gainers if together we stand by truth and justice. I am not anti-English. I am not anti-British. I am not anti-any government, Gandhi said, but I am anti-untruth. I am anti-humbug, nonsense, which is most of the time what we hear about the Israel-Palestine conflict. I am anti-humbug, and I'm anti-injustice. And that, I think, should be our attitude as well. We are not anti-Jewish, we are not anti-Israel, and for that matter, we are not anti-Zionist. The prize on which our eyes should be fixed is human rights, human dignity, human equality. Nobody should be put to ideological litmus tests. Are you now or have you ever been a Zionist? I couldn't care less what your philosophy is, what your ideology is, what your political creed is. I want an answer to basic questions of principle, basic questions of conscience, basic questions of human rights. Are you for or against ethnic cleansing? Are you for or against torture? Are you for or against house demolitions? Are you for or against Jews-only roads and Jews-only settlements? Are you for or against discriminatory laws? And if the answer comes against, and against, then I say, keep your ideology, whatever it might be. There's room for everyone at the rendezvous of victory. May we all, seekers of truth, fighters for justice, yet live to join the people of Palestine, the tormented people of Palestine, at the rendezvous of victory. Thank you.